Ready? Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So the first thing on the agenda is community comments. So this is for non-agenda items only. If you can identify yourself and keep it to 2 minutes.
I contacted the Department of Environmental Health with questions about the food truck that's out in front of Don Chatos. Don Chatos feels like their business is maybe suffering because this truck is directly in front and competing food. I have no knowledge of whether the food of that truck is good. I know they have their permits. My wish would be that the truck just relocate to a little bit different location so they're not directly competing with one of our restaurants. I also contacted Senator Valderas' office, and Tanya responded. She said that since it's not a state agency, that there's nothing they can do, but she suggested that possibly we try to work out something with town council. I was thinking maybe could we open up our CSD and add it as an amendment down the road, or no food trucks?
Back on that.
Or no food trucks within so many feet of an established business or something like that?
Well, our CSD is still pending, so there's no reason why we
You can't put that in the mix.
Anything that was in a certain distance of the schools.
Yeah.
Right, I think
Because
there
that
should be some
limits-
parameters if they will allow it.
So anyway, that's just what they suggested, and I didn't get anywhere either.
I'm struck with her, because I'm confused because the county always seems to say that it's a state code that says they can do it.
The state's saying they have no jurisdiction, and
Yeah.
the county doesn't allow pop-up, so the one that's across from McDonald's is technically a pop-up.
Yeah, not a,
Right, because it's got the tinning and the seating and all that. So that's not allowed, and if the county was to come inspect, they would be cited.
So, Jeremiah,
yeah.
the one across the McDonald's and the one across Don Chatos are both licensed, and we've inspected them multiple times. They pass every single time. So the ones that we have, gotten rid of multiple times inside are the ones over by the junior high.
The one that's over across from McDonald's has the pop-up, like a tent structure and seating, and that's not legal under the county ordinance. So I don't know
Yeah,
why,
so
I don't know why
that
that's
was
allowed to
addressed.
be there.
I was on a email thread with Chuck and some of the people with the health department. Whenever they went out there and inspected it, I guess it's within, if they have an exception or they have a permit for it or whatever, they didn't take it down. And that was addressed, because I was on a county email with the health department with what addressed specifically the city area, and whenever they did the inspection, it was kosher.
Well, what the county has told us in the past is the only thing that's allowed is if you have like a little push cart, an umbrella, or something like that. But if you have a easy up and you're occupying a whole space and with chairs, that's not allowed. That's what
It might be because it's tied to a registered truck or something. I'm not exactly sure the nuance on why, but that particular one across McDonald's, they said that the easy up was okay.
So we're getting a lot of inconsistent information from the county. So maybe we need to have, because they are not allowed. What we were told is the Board of Supervisors has directed the Sheriff's Department to not bother them even though they don't comply with the law. That's what I was told in the email.
No, we've been doing sweeps once a month.
Okay.
So we hit up Little Rock, Lake LA, and Acton. Usually by the time we hit Acton, they're all on the same telephone game, and they're advising each other. Some of them leave, some of them don't, but I had multiple of the same vendors multiple times. Well, health department has, and then they confiscate all the food and destroy it. And then they come back the very next day. It's not, it's not enough. Like I get that.
Oh, I'm not saying it's not enough, but this is not a knock on the sheriff's department at all. It's just the opposite, that we've been told basically your hands are tied. Because I'm struggling to see how the ordinance that they passed, the food vendor ordinance, which allows an umbrella on a push cart and things like that, that's the same agency that we were told that's what it allows, is telling you, oh, all that stuff's okay. So maybe we need to have a come to Jesus moment or meeting with the health department. Can you tell us who in health department you're working with, Deputy Martinez?
It's Eduardo. I have his card in my car. Eduardo, I think it's Figueroa. He's out of downtown, but he's the one that comes up here. It's not just him, but he's our main contact for the Antelope Valley. And then I think they all piggyback whoever's area they are. They all help each other out. But it's not I usually have to get like 3 or 4 deputies with me, and they bring about like 8 workers or so from the health department. You know, and one confiscates, the other one's writing up the citation, the other one's doing an inspection. But like I said, every single time we do the sweeps, the food trucks are there. They are compliant. They do spot checks in the kitchen. They do like test whatever to make sure the water temperature is the right temperature and all that other stuff. And all of it passes every time. The only thing they keep in that yellow car or whatever is paper plates and sodas and stuff. So I guess that doesn't matter. They keep like the utensils and stuff like that and sodas in that little van that's next to that truck.
Okay. All right, well, thank you very much. Eduardo Figueroa.
I wonder if we need to.
Deputy Martinez, can you tell them that they're responsible for all the trash? That if there's any trash found in the area where they normally park, that
Yeah, so I mean, we tell them that, but realistically, the littering would have to be witnessed, right? Like, you and I both know it's them. When I'm there, they're not actively littering, stuff's in the trash cans. There's not, you know, they say, oh no, we clean up after ourselves. It is what it is. Like, unless someone physically witnesses them at 2 in the morning dumping when they leave, that's gonna be the only time you're gonna get a citation for that.
Josie, I don't know if you can hear, but what would it take to have that be a fire lane, that whole section right there?
For what section again?
This is right at Crown and Sierra.
for the non-child.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't think, I'm trying to think if there's even a red
Part of
zone
it is,
anywhere.
there's a red area.
Yeah,
No, there is. The big section is red and then it goes white. And where it's white, it really, if you're pulling out, it's hard to look left.
Yeah.
Can't
They
see.
block
Or
all
like a
the-
15-minute loading zone, I mean, something that is not.
Yeah, it's like, it's just,
Free-for-all.
it makes it dangerous to drive. It's
Okay.
kind of a
Do
problem.
you have, can I get the limits? I know you mentioned Crown and Sierra, but is there specific?
3807, 3807 Sierra Highway. It's that shopping center and then the whole curb area out in front of it.
Okay. I'll have our traffic people look at it
Yeah.
and see what can be done.
Yeah, because the problem is like, I think even like in a normal sized car, you can see over and around it, but you can't really see when you're pulling out with the truck parked there all the time.
And that's why it's red in front of the shelf. Anything parked along the road obstructs view of the traffic, oncoming traffic.
And a lot of times it's that food truck, and then he has a white van
Van
that parks in front of the food
yeah,
truck.
so it's literally like you
cannot
can't
see
see.
coming out of that
Yeah, you
driveway.
really can't see from like 76, like the far side of 76,
Right.
you have a huge gap where, yeah, you can't see. So yeah, that might be something to look at if we could.
Okay.
Thank you. Anything else in community comments?
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to introduce us to your community and our community now, too. My name is Damian. We're from Mountain View Treatment Center. I think some people have maybe had some concerns in the past about us being in your community. We treat mental health and substance abuse, and we wanted to come here and just address any concerns anybody has. We're here to be good neighbors. We're doing the very best we can to make sure that we're part of your community and that we serve your community for anybody that has, mental health or substance use disorder issues. And so we wanted to, now or later, just open up the floor to any questions or concerns the panel might have, or or anybody, any of the residents of the community.
Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
is your facility the one right up here on Lariat
On
Way?
Larry, yes it is.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, we can take a couple questions. Since it's kind of community comment, we would love to get you on the agenda so we could actually have the community be aware and have you come back. But since we have two folks with questions, we'll do two questions and then let's.
The answer is I have to say where.
The
Where are
meeting
you?
is, the next meeting,
Sure.
normally it's the first Monday of the month.
Yeah.
Obviously, the first Monday of next month is a holiday, so it will be the 15th.
Okay.
So the third Monday of September. So if you can come,
Yeah,
Mine says
I'll
the
like to say,
agenda.
does that sound, I mean, if you need to look at your calendar.
Yeah, they can give you a business card, we'd love
Yeah,
to be on the panel or
Yeah,
talk a
we
little bit more about what we offer, and we'd really like to put everybody's minds at ease as to what we're doing here, and we're really trying to provide a service to help people that are in need.
I'm a neighbor,
Are
Hello?
you're on Larry?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
and it's not what you guys do, because I think it's great. It's what happens outside your facility that's not supervised. And I think there have been issues. And I think that you have neighbors that are closer to you than I am that have experienced situations that were really unpleasant, late at night, on their private property. And you know what I'm talking about. So we'll talk about it when we come back
Yeah,
on the
and
agenda.
I'd love to address that. I also want to mention, I've been in this field for 20 years as a therapist. I recently joined in May. A lot of things have improved. There was that unfortunate incident where somebody was dropped off on the wrong address.
2 incidents.
yeah,
Same number.
we've had residents from that area
Yeah.
from different groups. One to 2 other property owners have come in. The incidents were pretty harrowing. Somebody could have died, apparently.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm really grateful you guys came,
Thank you.
and hopefully you'll be able to,
Yeah.
Yeah,
get on the agenda.
we appreciate
We'll
it.
see.
Appreciate the
That
feedback
way
and all
we
the
get the
questions.
word out to people,
Yeah.
yeah, especially the people who are, at their door almost open at 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I heard about that incident, and that's unfortunate.
And, we have a lot of retired police officers here, and
Correct.
they will protect their home. And
Absolutely.
that's really scary for everybody, I think, so.
11:30 at night, somebody in your side yard, dressed in black, trying to get in your door. Could have been tragic.
Sure.
And in another state, it was tragic. Somebody was shot and killed.
Mhm.
That was from a rehab center that was somehow misplaced or lost or whatever.
Could you put your word out to the folks on your streets like on that?
And we'd also like, just as closing, we'd like to, maybe with Officer Martinez, because I've actually had the pleasure of meeting him, maybe we'll have an open house where anybody can come in and see what we're offering, what we're doing, and we can plan that at the next meeting.
The house is beautiful. I mean, we've seen pictures on the MLS. This one is beautiful. You've done a great job. It's not what you're doing inside. It's what's happening outside. That's what our complaint is.
You get the card, that'd be great.
Yeah, cool, thank you.
All right, and thanks for.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah. All right, anything else, community comments? Go once, go twice. All right, announcements, correspondence.
Let's see, there will be a trail cleanup event on the TNC property off of Rossbury Canyon, the Strumpel Rossbury Trail. At the end of September, we'll be getting a flyer for that soon, so we'll post that on the website when we get it. The Department of Animal Care and Control will be having a Clear the Shelters event for the entire month of August. As part of the campaign, they are waiving adoption fees for all cats and dogs throughout August, including spay, neuter, and microchip fees. If you're thinking about getting a dog or a cat, please start in a county pet shelter. Every dog I've ever owned came from a pound, including our latest dog, Sally, who was actually Supervisor Antonovich, dog of the week, so.
But those came from the pound too, right?
Oh, yes, they're all.
I volunteered at Lancaster. We used to give the puppies to Antonovich for his meetings.
Oh, well, maybe, that's where we got Sally from, so maybe. So please, don't buy your dog. Please adopt your dog out of a shelter. I did send it to you, but there will be a flyer posted on it on our website as soon as I send it to you. There is an informational meeting on the Matai Best project scheduled for August 12th from 6 to 8 at the AV College main cafeteria. It's important that there be a large turnout, so I hope everybody can come. Edison has agreed to participate remotely in a community meeting addressing the January PSPS events. The meeting will be in person, so we all can get together. So we've been wanting to do this now for almost 8 months now. Originally, the meeting was proposed for August 18th, but due to scheduling of its experts, Edison has asked that the meeting be shifted to either the 26th or 27th at 6 p.m. I've spoken with the school district. They're going to set it all up. And I don't know which date will be better for them, but if there's dates that are better for the community or for us, you know, I need to let Edison know. So 26th, we can talk about the utilities committee report, I suppose.
Is that for January?
Yes, for the January PSPS events. Because if you remember, you know, we submitted comments on their performance, or lack thereof, and informed Edison that we're planning on filing a complaint with the Public Utilities Commission on it. But we're going to have this discussion with them to sort of come, hopefully, to some sort of, yes. So, because nobody wants to go through that. I don't want to go through it. It's a big, hard process. Anyway, LA County Planning has launched a county-wide community wildfire protection plan that will provide community-focused fire protection and response strategies for unincorporated communities. The workshop for the Antelope Valley was last Wednesday, but we didn't get to notice until so. But there are more workshops. The next workshop that I'm aware of is scheduled in Santa Clarita for August 6th. And then the specific workshop for what's called the High Country, which is acted as part of the High Country, is on 6 to 7, from 6 to 7. Oh, I didn't write down the date. I'm sorry. I'll look that up and announce a little bit. But, and we just got the blurb on it, and there's no information really. But it's one of the processes you have to go through to become a fire-safe, fire-wise community, which will help all of our insurance policies, our insurance rates drop. So it's very important. We will have that posted on the website. That is one of the things I'm saying. So I think the date was like coming up the end of this week, but check the flyer on the website. I haven't sent it to you yet. I'm sorry. The draft sustainability plan has been issued. Comments are due August 22nd. There is a public webinar on this scheduled for August 7th at 10 a.m. And they didn't send us any information on it, but if you want to participate, I think registration is required. So we don't have a flyer, but if you want to participate, please email the town council and I will forward you the information. Senator Valadares hosted a grand opening of her office this afternoon. Let's see, the county is pursuing a CAL FIRE grant to provide voluntary, no-cost, personalized home ignition zone evaluations to properties located within MAP fire zones like Acton. It's called the HIGHS, Home Ignition Zone Evaluation. In the HIGHS, it's a review of one's house to see where there are vulnerabilities to wildfire and ember ignition, particularly looking at the vents, which is really important. A voluntary program would be established where people would be able to register to request a trained person contracted by the county to come to their home and identify all their home vulnerabilities. It won't cost a thing.
Federal funding for next-gen aircraft in the Antelope Valley. It authorizes delivering additional resources to the National Guard's Fire Guard program, which detects, tracks, and shares information about the spread of wildfires with local public safety officials. And the NDA will authorize the DoD's autonomous firefighting technology to attack wildfires that are too dangerous for manned aircraft. So they'll fly unmanned firefighting units into dangerous zones. And it also supports local community colleges that want to provide a pathway to students who want to pursue technical training in the defense industrial base. So a couple of really important elements that he supported in the NDAA: authorizing a 3.8% pay raise for all military personnel, lowering the cost of housing for service members through updated calculations based on market trends, extending the child care in your home pilot program, which helps military families with the cost of full-time child care, expanding access to food nutrition on military installations, which I have a brother who lives on one right now, and it's pretty huge. expanding mental health services for service members, and expanding care and benefits for women's health through TRICARE. One more quick legislative update. So last month, Congressman Whiteside introduced the Improving Atmospheric River Forecasts Act with Reps. Jay Overnolte, Vince Wong, and Lou Correa. So this is bipartisan legislation that's going to enhance the NOAA's ability to track and predict atmospheric rivers, which are those massive storm systems that bring really heavy precipitation and flooding to California. As you all probably know, the unpredictability of these atmospheric rivers pose a really big risk in SoCal, where the heavy rains on recent wildfire burn scars can trigger some really dangerous mudslides and flash floods. So this act, which was backed by the Santa Clarita Water Agency, directs the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration to expand data research, deploy some new monitoring technologies, and improve data sharing to provide more accurate and timely forecasts. Quick programming update. The Congressional App Challenge is still rolling along. We'll be accepting applications from those middle and high schoolers until late October. So if you know any students that are still interested, please feel free to point them my way or go to congressionalappchallenge.us. We're still getting applications every week, so we'd really like to see as much representation from actors as possible. And one other quick thing, we are hosting an informational night on Wednesday, August 27th for the service academies and their applications. So it's going to be at 5:30 at College of the Canyons at their Valencia campus. The application itself will be open soon for the fall, so as soon as it's officially live, I will make sure to let you all know, send you any materials like flyers, and make sure any students who are interested in applying to any of the academies will have the resources and info they need to submit a competitive app. So if you have any questions, feel free to send it my way. The council has my email and my phone number, so feel free to reach out. We're here for you guys.
Can you, when you get the flyer for the academies, would you forward it to us and we'll post it, please?
Absolutely, that would be great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome.
It's always nice to see you.
Thanks, Jen.
Hi, thanks you guys. It's good to see you.
All right. I didn't see anybody else from the offices, so we will continue on. Deputy Martinez.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Okay, so for the month of July, we had it was the busiest month we had so far, but summer typically is like that anyways. We had 3 Part 1 crimes, and we had 7 property crimes. We did have 1 arson. It was a firebombing. We had suspect pending an arrest because of what happened with the bomb squad down below. There also are some investigators been delayed as far as that goes, but we do have suspect information on that. Concerning with all the trailers and RVs, I took 12 of them in the month of July from different areas, from Thousand Trails to Sierra, and I did get your guys' email about the new ones that came up, so tomorrow I'll be out and I'll see you with the same ones. But as you guys know, at public roads, they move, they're doing their week out. I don't know where we're at with the CUP with Thousand Trails. I don't know if there's some sort of leverage we could pressure them to better regulate what's going on with that, but it's basically every single time they do the week out, that's what's going on. They're just scattered throughout town. You guys got anything for me?
No, thank you for receiving those emails. We got 2 emails from 2 different people on the same RV sitting there in front of the California. So I don't know if they do a week out too. And all of them.
No, so they're conditioned, they're allowed to live there. They get mail there. They move, I want to say every 6 months to a different spot. That's more of like housekeeping on their part as far as like, if there's like issues with neighbors and all that other stuff. So Cali Lakes and California Resort are the only ones that have livable spaces. With the KOA or LA Resort and Thousand Trails, they're used as supposed to be recreational. And from what I understand, their conditional use permit is supposed to be heavy during summer and basically only staff only during the rainy season because of all the leach lines from the 40 septic systems. And when everyone's using it year-round as a living, that's what's going on with Lane Station, correct? Like with all the fecal matter and all the
I am so glad you said that. And let me just make sure, As I've said this before, everybody understands the problem. Yeah, KOA is only supposed to operate during the summer. They operate all year round. They don't even have a waste discharge for, neither does County Lake. The problem is that when the county redid the housing ordinance, suite of housing ordinances 6 years ago, 5 years ago, they prohibited anybody from living in an RV park for more than 90 days in a one-year period, actually, if you're in any kind of fire zone. So, and I have seen what happened at Cali Lake, and in that case, the director, Bodek, fought an iron fight and said it's against our code to be able to live there. And the board of supervisors said, we don't care, we're going to let them live there.
So with Cali Lakes, they actually have gone from, I want to say, like 200 spots to like 47.
Yes.
So whatever they mitigated, the state got involved, and they, not only the fact that it's no longer a lake, now that when we had that flash flood a couple years ago and the lake ripped apart and took out half those homes, we can only congregate in the 47 spots through, I guess, the original spots of that area, and everything else has been, they're doing pretty good about kicking everyone else out, so they're staying on their limits.
Yeah, that is really good, and the reason it's really important is because under certain federal regulations, clean water regulations, the state who has, under an MOU, implements these federal regulations, and they are going after nitrates and coliform bacteria pollutants in the Santa Clara River. So far, they've just gotten to reach 7. The next reach they're going to go to, that's where they break it up into what's called reaches. The next area is our area. And if you know anything that happened with the lakes, when they did the TMDL process of the lakes, they ran a model called the bathtub model, and they said, well, here are all the sources of nitrates, and they included septic. Also, the fact that the Forest Service used to stock the lake with fish, which is the main source of nitrates. Because of the modeling that they run, the model had to kick out some number for the septic systems. So they said, okay, the septic systems are responsible for like 0.0006% of all the nitrates. But because the septic systems are identified as a source under federal law, they became responsible. And all of those septic systems within, I think it's the whole community, is going to have to be retrofitted 40 grand a pop. They're going to do the same thing to us. And we have a lot more areas, right? So that's why the primary reason why I have been working so hard on getting these campgrounds to clean up their act, literally, because if we don't, when they get to the TMDL step for us, we're all going to pay 40 grand each, at least, to retrofit our septic systems. My house on 5 acres, 3 miles from the river, is not causing nitrate problems in Santa Clarita, but I'm still going to have to pay for it. So we really, what you just mentioned, Deputy Martinez, about the nitrates and the coliform, and at KOA and Cali Lakes, their leach lines are in the flood line, which is actually a violation of state and federal law. And the county doesn't do anything about it, the state water boards don't do anything about it. Maybe we'll get the EPA involved, I don't know. It's just, the EPA won't necessarily get involved because they have an agreement with the state to implement the federal regulations. And then the state turns around and has an agreement with the county to implement it, or the water board, right, the local water board. So it's a real problem, and I know people are upset with town council for stepping in hard on these septic issues on the RV parks, but it's very important. So anyway, we need to go down that rabbit hole. Good for you. It's scary, and people don't understand the big picture of why these little things can really have repercussions that affect all of us. So.
Anything else that you might guess? Anything from anybody? Thank you, sir. All right. Parks and Recreation. So we had a meeting with Parks and Rec, which was exciting, if only because that's been tough to come by. And
I think so.
Okay. So we've been after them for a long time about options for water for us, whether it's a splash pad or a pool, and seemingly have gotten nowhere for a long time. However, they did have some, I don't even call it preliminary. It was a very, how would you describe it? It was preliminary because it's not a given, but pre-preliminary. In software, we call it alpha. It would be like an initial drawing of where a proposed splash pad might go at the park, which was exciting to actually see that somebody put pen to paper and drew it up. So we kind of talked a little bit about that and gave some feedback on ideas as far as the location they had selected and whether maybe there might be a better location for the park. But they seem very receptive, and so we've agreed to have some follow-up conversations, and so there seems to be some traction. So
Another part of the conversation was, you know, under Measure A, our community, they're setting aside funds. It's growing in our community for us. And we are supposed to, Parks and Rec, since we don't have a city, we don't have a city government, we don't have a Parks Department, we don't have a city council, so we don't have, you know, the infrastructure or the human infrastructure to go after Measure A grants for park facilities and parklands. So when Measure A was passed 10 years ago almost, the commitment was made to us, to my face, right? And Russ Fox, the president of town council, we were together at that meeting. Parks and Recs understands that we unincorporated communities have no structure to go after these things. I mean, what? Is the Friends of the Library going to go after park facilities? It's like, come on, you need to have, you need to do it first because you're a city. And so they said they would have a group, put together a group and work with rural community, or not rural, or unincorporated communities to go after these park funds. And we just got another email last week, $58 million in grant funds are going out in the next year. And, you know, we're not going to be part of it again. For in 10 years, no rural community's gotten any funding out of the parks. No unincorporated community. The money's all going to cities, and then they're giving huge amounts of money to these conservancy groups that go out and buy land, and that's it. Well, we've said we want amenities. So another part of what we hammered them on with this meeting was, when are you going to sit down with each community, put together a plan, and go after some of this funding, because it's only going to the cities, and it's wrong. And they said that they would talk about that, get together, if they want to have another meeting with us in a month. So that's good. And then they said, we're rolling out our annual, we go to every park, county park, and talk to the community about what they want to see in their community. We've been doing it for 3 years, and I said, we've never done it now. Which is true, right? And so I'm so glad you're here, because I'm going to share with you, because we really need to, if we don't, what we need is like we have the Friends of the Library here, we need the Friends of Acton Park, we need that sort of reinitiate.
You know, I checked out, the entity is still valid, they didn't disband.
So anything we could.
Called franchise backwards, so it's the next step.
So
Kate president of the women's club too, so I'm trying to do Friends of Acton Park.
Yeah, we need people from the community to help, and I know some people who would be interested in doing that. So, you know, that would be great. So
who did you talk to at the parks? Because I've been meeting.
It was Sheila Matai and her supervisor, Sean Woods, although he would be retired soon. He's head of planning, so we're not talking to the people like who you have to deal with to get permits or get things.
Yeah,
this is like
deputy directors and regional directors.
yeah. And we have met years ago, a couple of years ago. We met with Norma, the head herself, about pool facilities and so on and so forth. And at any rate, so I asked Sheila. I said, she goes, "Oh, we didn't go to Acton because there's no facilities." I'm like, hello. she meant like meeting places, and I'm like,
no, but they called it we're past a thing. So then I got them last year. I got the school district, to give them an office.
yes, and I told her.
And they won't go. Because then we want kids to be in it. I'm like, you didn't ask for that. That's for an office so you can conduct business.
Yeah, that's what
I was in
that
school like
meeting.
they did years ago, and I'm like, you know, but
No, I told.
I get it, and then they're like,
I told Sheila that we have many places where we can have community meetings, like in the parks and even a library, which is great. And so she said she would make sure they had one in Acton, so I'm hoping everybody will come to that. I don't know where yet or when.
But frankly, I was just excited normally how these meetings have gone is we pulled teeth to ask for a meeting, and before the call was over, she said, I'd like to meet again.
Yes.
And it's like, excellent.
That's Sheila. Sheila's pretty good.
No, it was awesome. She's amazing, and again, to see an actual drawing means somebody actually spent time to go, hey,
We exist.
we exist, and we want to do something that you want to do, not what we think that might be good for your community. It was like, this is all based on feedback, which we, during COVID, when we met down at the community center, we gave all those ideas, and there was all sorts of stuff, whether it was splash pad, pool, archery range, I'm trying to remember all the ones, skate park, all these different things.
And you had a very creative way to wait to.
We weighed it all, and we provided that all, but then to have something come back, it's like, we really do, and we highlighted too, we've had a conversation with Ogden Town Council. They've said, hey, they would support something, bringing our funds together to try to do something, because they don't have anything either. So, and we didn't, as far as we were concerned, it didn't matter what was an actor or Ogden, but we need something in this area like that. And so just exciting that
It is exciting.
maybe something, the wheels are starting to turn, maybe get some inertia and some momentum, and get, especially when, like you said, we keep seeing all this money just go.
Every time I report on it here, just to try to get people to. So ironically, Sheila's last name is Matai. So she's easy to remember. But
Is it spelled the same? No, not spelled the same.
No, but just one A, not two. Other than that, same.
We had talked about a community pool with like collaboration or whatever with the high school.
That was one
And
of the
Alphadosa,
things.
we said that Alphadosa Town Council, we could talk about pooling our funds.
Typically, what we've run into is we would bring up a pool, and they'd say, "Oh, well, space." We said, "Well, space isn't a problem. We can find the space." Like,
I bet I could find somebody to donate the
yes,
land.
we said that's not going to be the problem. So we said, so they go, "Oh, well, it's fine. If we built it, there's no money to maintain it." And so we said, wait. We talked to the high school. High school has a vested interest in having something. We think that.
But yeah, they were saying, you either have to go to Palmdale or you have to go to.
Yeah, well, we've highlighted numerous times during, probably 2 years ago. I think probably 2 years ago since we had the whole call. It was something that really pushed on too, which was, we talk about sustainability, we talk about all these things, and yet we're going to ship kids to drive all over God's creation.
Right.
When we just have one here and solve.
And it's not fair. They should have, for the population of the unincorporated area in North LA County, not counting Castaic or Stevenson Ranch, because every other house is a pool right there. We should have at least 4 pools up here.
Yeah.
We should, and we have 2. It's like we're underserved,
Yeah.
like by 1,000%,
There's no equity.
No.
And it would be so easy because the high school kids or junior high, whoever, swim team could use it during the winter.
Yes.
And the community could use it during the summer.
Yes,
Right.
no, it's beautiful synergy. Yeah, no, and that's
why
why
we said we don't want, when we were talking with Norma,
we don't want a aquatic facility.
she's like,
You kept saying,
well,
well,
aquatic facility is 10 million. I'm like, nobody wants an
Yeah,
aquatic
which
facility.
one?
You can't bring your family to an aquatic facility and have a barbecue while your kids are in the pool. I mean, we want what we used to have with Soledad Sands in the 70s and 60s and 70s and 80s. That's what we want now. I sent them pictures of it. So
nothing yet, but this is more than we've seen, so.
yeah, I am happy.
I was stoked.
I hope I don't sound unhappy. I'm very
No, I was
sound
unhappy.
grumpy.
I literally ran from my office into the house and
Yippee!
proclaimed it to the kids. I was like, guys, maybe before you're my age, there might be a splash pad.
I love splash pads.
Yeah.
I know to run through them.
You guys come home from college, you can bring your, after college, you can bring your children.
Your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And grandpa will go with you.
Yeah.
Such excitement.
No
I'll
problem.
be there.
in my meetings too, that's when they're bringing up splash pads and painting pickleball lines on the basketball court.
Right. Hey.
That's simple. Like
Yes.
Well, it's interesting because when we were talking about this, we were talking about that one open field, and they asked how it's used, and they're going to look into it. I did learn that they have a weekly junior flag football, but those fields are 70 yards by 30 yards usually,
Yeah.
and they would easily fit even sideways to give us a pickleball even.
Where they had showed us on the thing was kind of between the basketball courts and the pavilion kind of stuff. Like there's a little section right there, and that's where they were like proposing to put it. Which if you probably, if they talked to you about it, you probably saw. So we were saying, hey, what if it was over by the big, the big open field over that way, so we don't lose that zone. And it was
You pointed out, we have several baseball fields already.
Well, that's what we,
Yes.
but you guys asked for this, when the Friends of Acton Park built this, they asked for those sports fields.
Yeah.
No, we want
Well,
that, and I said,
we said things.
we don't want baseball and we don't want soccer
Yeah.
at that park, because we have those two in Acton, so why are we focusing on that? At least they're doing it.
Yeah, so well, I'm glad you had that echo, because that's what we said, and then we also said, but please don't hear that as precluding, if you can only go in that one spot, and we'll take it in that spot. Like, so in other words, don't go, well, they want it in the field, we can't do it in the field, so just forget it. It's like, no.
If you want to put it at home plate, we're good with it.
Yeah. Literally wherever you want to put it, we said, we think that the community overwhelmingly has said, this is something important we want. And to your point, it was like, we said, we have Series Sports has fields, we have lots of fields that we can serve up, we have 0 splash pads. So one splash pad is a 100% increase to the splash pad population. We think that everybody would be really happy with it, because it's not detracting from, the other uses, because there is a field to play all those things. So, but yeah.
And in November of 2023, the board approved a plan that incorporated 14 or 16 new splash pads, which is to bring the total in the county up to 40. So when you do the math there, unincorporated residents of less than 1 million, we should have one splash pad. We should have for at least 4 or 5 here in the Antelope Valley as well.
So we were trying to find out
she
whether
was
we-
unaware of that, and I was wondering, so when we had the first meeting a year ago, have those splash pad locations been identified? We were told no, so we've been like saying, okay,
We
we
want
need
to
to
have
have,
those.
2 of them need to be in the Antelope Valley, because the whole impetus for the motion was climate change and cooling centers, and how do we turn our parks into cooling areas? I'm like, hello, Antelope Valley's 10 degrees hotter on the projecting heat index for 2045, because of global warming. Then down there, why are you putting all down there? This is where they're needed. So anyway.
But you just show them the pictures of the active 4th of July parade. It shows how much we love water.
You love what you don't have much of.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's very good.
Awesome. All right. Sustainability plan.
Okay, so the sustainability plan was first published or whatever in 2019. It had a lot of policies in them that were, the draft, basically the draft said there will be no discretionary permits issued after 2020 and no ministerial permits after 2025, which means that you wouldn't be able to replace your roof. So they managed to beat those back. So they changed some things, made it a little bit better. But now the sustainability plan revision is upon us. Public comments are due, I think, on the 22nd. I have not looked at it except for one section that I will read to you. It has to do with green energy. And Action 90 is develop and adopt an updated renewable energy ordinance that advances the development of renewable energy facilities and supported technologies like solar and battery energy storage systems, while supporting community priorities like safety and energy resilience. I am troubled by that because I do not understand why safety is a community priority and not a county priority. It's what do you mean? What do you mean, like supporting our community safety? How about like advancing community safety at the county level? And then that's the primary purpose. Then you support, right? It's all backwards. They should be advancing our safety to supporting green energy, right? Because we're not against it.
No.
There is the workshop on, whatever day I mentioned, I think it was the 7th or a couple of days that I mentioned earlier. So, if you can register and go to that, that would be good. But we probably need to, and I haven't written this up in my notes, sorry, these notes aren't done, make a motion to write comments on it. If nothing else than to comment on that. I haven't seen anything else. I think it was the 22nd.
Oh, 22nd.
Yeah. guess I could make a motion or someone
Yeah,
else
make a
wants to make a
motion.
motion. Yes, comments are due August 22nd. There is a public webinar scheduled for August 7th at 10 a.m. I don't think we've got a brochure for that one, unfortunately, so. But if you're interested, contact us and we'll send you the email. It's like one of those big URL things, it's just a little link, but since they didn't give us a flyer, I don't have any way to.
Yeah, I would understand.
Okay, so I move that we write a comment letter on the sustainability plan.
And this is the update, right?
Update, yeah, but it's, yeah,
Whatever.
basically, thank you.
Okay, just on the sustainability plan.
Yeah.
Okay, do a second.
Second.
Give it a second. Any other discussion? Well, I'm glad at least some of the stuff got feedback because
It was
as
bad.
bad as that is,
It's still, there still might be a lot of bad.
I'm sure.
Sorry, I've only looked at one page.
I'm sure, but I know that we had some real serious stuff out of the gate that were,
Oh, bad.
Right.
It was bad.
it's like, it's one of those moments where you're like, I don't know if you understand what you have written down and what it's going to do. And you like walk somebody through like, you said no discretionary, which means none of this, and then you have the light bulb on some of the people go, oh, that's not what we meant.
That's not what we meant.
You're like, but that's what it says,
But it
or how
is.
it can be interpreted. Can we fix that? Okay. Okay, yes, yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
So, we also can ask Rita, her email said we can have the community meetings if we want, or we can have a meeting with the community. But it was just too late to try to get this
Yeah,
together for.
And even then, I don't, it's so short. I mean, I appreciate the, but
They told us a few months ago.
well, even 45 days would be not like it. I mean, we're like,
Well, we-
August 4th is.
The weird thing is that August 22nd, so we put it out obviously July 22nd.
Yes.
It was after our last
Yeah,
meeting.
but
so-
even that, here's my problem. This is like every problem we have. If we have a meeting, let's say we had a meeting 10 years from now, okay? So we pulled the other meeting, and we get feedback. There's no way they're gonna integrate any of that feedback in that short window. They'll say, thank you, really nice, you have a good point, or okay, and then we'll knock it down. Yes, and so that's my problem. That's why at least there's enough time to give the input and follow up on the input, and follow up again on the input. This is like, thank you, we listen to the community. Although I want to say, at least I appreciate Rita has been very responsive on things.
So I'll email her back
Yeah.
and say, no one in community outreach, but we'll be sending.
Yeah, I might just include too, like, you know, it feels like just patting my head. I just want to, like, I want them to just be thinking about that with, like, even if they have an approximate idea, I know they don't want to set things because they're like, we don't know when we're going to do the thing exactly, we don't know month out. But the point is like, they still know it's coming, so why not get feedback somewhere? Like, this offer would have been great 60 days ago.
Yeah. They did, they have those workshops, and I drove down to LA 3 days.
That's
and
right.
did every
It's
single
not,
one.
yeah, but it's not conducive. It's
Yeah,
like,
I know.
some of these driving nuts because, well, I understand it's for the county, but it's really not going to affect any of the cities. It's,
That's what's garbage about
yeah,
it. They
so it's
need
like
to be
in the place,
where-
yeah. So that's what I mean. It's like they're going to have it downtown LA, which it won't matter for, and then us.
And everybody, let me tell you, everybody who was in those workshops,
Thinks it's all great.
not one of them was from an unincorporated community. I was the only one.
There almost
It was
needs to be.
ridiculous.
They want to do one there to tell everybody what's going on, that's fine, but the people that are actually affected by it
Yeah,
should.
and if everybody who was there were all pro, but they were all a bunch like city people, like, yeah, you need to, I'm from, because you said everybody went around from where they were from, and I'm like,
Yeah.
none of y'all are affected by this. What are you doing here? Why are we here? You should be up for.
Yeah. I mean,
Did you say y'all?
Y'all know. I was channeling my niece Christy. She talks like that. I don't
She's
know.
from Southback.
All y'all.
She's
All y'all.
But there was also, there were community
Well, that's
social
right.
groups. Yeah, there were community social groups. There were people who were affected. There were groups trying to wedge themselves in.
Yes, I'm sorry, don't, I apologize, I'm for that too.
actually coming to the places that have skin in the game. Because it's not gonna, I feel like we go into like anything in LA City, give me my 2 cents, which that's like not gonna affect me, but.
Well, we get the same stuff with cannabis. Everybody goes to cannabis meetings. Not one of them is from an unincorporated.
Not one of them's where it's gonna
all
get stuck.
gonna be. No.
Well, when we went down to LA, the county meeting, and as they brought up each proposition, each thing they were going to do, they were just ushering groups of unions
Oh,
in,
yeah, it was-
who gave, 20, 30 who gave their speech. We stood up, we gave whatever, and then they voted 5-0 against us, and they went to the next issue, and there was another union group coming in.
All right. So REO meeting discussion.
Okay, so regional planning is putting together revisions to the renewable energy ordinance, which is going to include language addressing BESS, battery energy storage systems. So the draft ordinance will be out sometime this fall. They agreed, the Association of Real-Time Councils invited Mark and Katie, Herwig and Katie Rampel up from regional planning and also, yes, thank you, Lorraine, who's doing probably a lot of the legwork on it. And they came up, so the ARTC scuttled their normal last Wednesday of the month meeting, and instead had an in-person meeting here. No, it was a big community center on the 30th of July. So just last Wednesday, and we had people from the lakes there, I think was there, Pear Blossom Town Council, Little Rock Town Council, talking about this ordinance. And a key thing that we asked for, and Ricky was there as well, as a utilities chairperson, or member of the committee. A key thing that we asked for is when they have this consultant report coming up that's going to advise them. So we said that we really need to look at that report, offer comment on it, and make sure that those comments are in early enough before the draft ordinance is drafted to actually shape the ordinance and have what impact and discussion is supposed to actually do. Exactly. So they said they would take that back. They didn't. They said they were going to put it out to the public, and I said, no, you need to put it out to the public before you draft the draft ordinance. Otherwise, it's just pointless, right? And I pointed out that with the CPA report on the wildfire ordinance and the BESS report in response to Barbara's motion of 2023, I told them these two of the worst reports, among the worst I've ever read, right? Just really bad. And that, so we want to be able to weigh in on it. This is something that profoundly affects this community more than any other community in the whole country, I think.
Yeah.
So, especially in regards to BESS. So, hopefully they will do that. We have already voted to write a comment letter. I haven't written that letter yet, so I apologize. That's going to be done sometime in the next 2 weeks. And Ricky, do you have anything you want to add about the meeting? Yeah. The RO meeting?
Yeah, well, Jose and Mario, mostly Mario, put together a great like a PowerPoint thing and went through the different points that the county had said to us at previous meetings. And so he was able to respond to those things as to what the ARTC would like to see happen with those different points, which I thought he did a really great job on that. And of course, the team, the county team, I think they're great. I mean, I send them stuff every week, and they're always extremely gracious, accepting all my offerings. It's always, very sweet, very kind. So it's nice to know the people that are developing this and that they're receptive to hearing from us, because it's important.
Yep, and Mario, as you pointed out, he hit some of the highlights. The transmission lines have to be underground.
Yeah.
no internals. No vests, even if it's an accessory vest, without a conditional use permit. And no vests in certain areas, I think you said 3,600 feet, was it, or 3,200 feet from any residential uses, sensitive uses, anything like that.
Because that's like in line with the existing regulations on fossil fuel plants and stuff.
No, this is amazing.
So we're not asking for anything like to reinvent the wheel, we just want that to carry over and be the same, because there's risk with fossil fuel plants too, and so that's why
Yes.
3,200 feet makes sense, so therefore it should also make sense for the battery storage, that's lithium based.
Would that 3,200 feet be from the border line or from the center of the property like they did in Santa Clarita?
Yeah.
Well, we'd say from the property boundary. The county typically does it from the property boundary. That's how they're doing the cannabis. So, property, right? Like playing in the yard or something. So it's property line to property line. That's how
That makes sense. That's how it should be.
Yeah, that's how it has to be. Who knows what they're going to do?
Well, there's big pushback at the state level for that 3,200 foot number, so I don't know. I'd like to see it.
Have you seen any downturn since Washington's cutting back on the money given to
I've just read some articles that they're going to make the green energy projects, basically they have to answer to their density as to whether they're worth the sacrifice of the environment, because they are destroying the environment, you know, the solar and the wind, and I know they're very anti-wind in Washington, in the current administration. But they're going more in the direction of building small nuclear facilities, small footprint.
But I was just wondering if the subsidies being taken out, that will slow down.
It should, and being that there's tariffs on China, the batteries were not going to be tariffed until 2026, and that was under Biden's thing. But I believe that they are now going to be lumped into everything else with China that's going to be tariffed.
Chinese battery producer this on the news this morning that's trying to build a plant in Michigan, and they're fighting because of the lithium plant, and they're not wanting to build it in town. Similar situation as for some tester. They're just building batteries that are going to ship out of there.
Oh, it's manufactured.
Correct.
Oh.
And so that's what's interesting is perhaps trying to end around the tariff and saying, we'll build them here so there's no tariff. So kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think the bloom is off the rose with the green energy, the solar and wind are considered to be unreliable because they are basically they function.
The whim of nature.
The sun, yeah. So, and then the battery storage was supposed to be the savior of that, but because they insist on using the lithium-based technologies, and the developer has been dictating that, nobody has been checking the developers and saying, you know, if you really want to build this project and you want it built quickly and without opposition, then you need to change your technology. And they were letting the developers have it all their way. And I think that pendulum is swinging. So,
Thanks to you, a lot of your efforts.
yes, and sort. Thanks to a lot of things, but there's a lot of people in the
You're doing all
state,
the connection and the outreach.
a lot of people in the state, a lot of people across the country that I've talked to that are representing communities that are doing exactly what we're doing, which is opposing because it's too close to residences, it's going to be a risk, it's going, a fire or health risk, it's going to devalue properties, it's going to change the character of the community, you know, so many negative things, and people are fighting back. And at first I think they were afraid to, like in 2022, in 2023, when the lift posts started to show that they weren't as safe as what they originally were told they were. I think people started to kick up, and it's just escalated, so.
Well, and thankfully for people like you that are bringing the
the knowledge to the communities, because people don't understand it.
No, I know.
Don't know anything about
I'm
it.
super proud
Yes,
of our community. I see
yes.
there's a lot of people that are here that have gone to bat with us, to the board supervisors and everything, and ridden the bus, and, I mean,
Right.
but I feel like, I've put the information out there, I'm trying to teach everybody, as I'm learning, I'm trying to spread the word, and I think our community is very well informed about lithium technology.
Right.
A lot of communities are not.
We're not.
Well, to show how good of a job you've done,
Done.
I went to the Santa Clarita one, and here's a city of 100,000 plus, and they came to you, because they were surrounding Portland activists asking for help and leadership.
It probably didn't hurt that I wouldn't sit down.
Well,
I'm educated, I'm gonna stand up here, I'm gonna keep talking.
Well, and that was because they had told her, they're like, you've got 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Some guy's like, she can have my 2 minutes. And some guy's like, she can have my 2 minutes. She's like, and she's like, you need to listen to me, I know what I'm talking about. We were at that
But it was
point,
really-
Pam was with us, we're like, get him, Ruthie.
But it was really good to see Santa Clarita rally around you.
It was
and
nice.
Acton.
Well, I think that because of Acton, and because of our presence on social media with our battle, I think the Canyon Country people went, wait a minute,
Yeah.
what is this? Don't we
Is
have
this,
one?
didn't they just drop one of those off here? Yeah.
Are they really? We have one of those? And all of a sudden, the light bulbs went on in those people's eyes, and they went, oh my gosh, we have one of those. And so now the city council's getting lots of pushback, a lot of letters, people showing up at meetings. So good for Santa Clarita, plug yourself in and stay plugged in.
There was a lot of people at that meeting.
Not
That's
enough.
No,
Not enough for how size that community
that's
is.
true, that's
There
true.
was probably 75 people there. I was expecting that place to be full.
Yeah, well, we need to pack the house all the time.
Yes.
Yes.
I also want to say something about this. What I've basically been doing for the last 2 weeks, solid, is we voted to write a comment letter on the Angelino project. So I'm just going through that application before the CEC, and it's massive. But the last thing last thing I was looking at was the noise parameters. And they actually included in an appendix what the manufacturer says the noise levels are for certain types of equipment. And we've been talking about, and we made this a big centerpiece in our comments on, I don't even remember what, but low frequency noise being a problem. And so they literally, they had numbers in the low frequency range, and anywhere from 98 decibels to 104 decibels. And the problem with low frequency is, they're talking about they're going to put a block wall up, a metal block of sound, but low frequency goes through walls.
Yes,
And you
that's
cannot,
what it penetrates.
and because we have hard ground and little vegetation,
It's gonna travel.
it's all going to be what they call geometric attenuation. It only dissipates based on the areas.
Yeah.
It's all pressure sound, right?
And
Sound is
people-
pressure waves.
People need to remember too, that it's a lot of evidence, so like
Exactly.
that delta is ginormous between
Yeah.
94 and 100.
Yeah, so when you go up by 10 decibels, it's a doubling of the sound. It's not just
It's not
10% more. Yeah. And so, so a problem, and it's something we should probably talk to our legislators about, all noise standards that I'm aware of are based on what's called dBA, or A-weighted sound averaging. The human ear tends to hear best between 1,000 and 5,000 hertz. And so that's why noise standards are weighted, so because human ear, what an instrument hears and measures is not necessarily the way the human ear, it's what it listens, and so certain frequencies we hear stronger than other frequencies. So they have the acoustical experts have come up with something called an A-weighted scale, and the noise monitors are all pre-programmed, so whenever they get a noise measurement, they automatically adjust it, add to this, take away from that, discount this, to give you an answer in A-weighted noise level. So it's not actually the noise that they're measuring. And under A-weighted noise standards, they eliminate the low frequency, so they don't even, it's not part of it, yeah. And so there's an article that I found on the National Institutes of Health website that talks about, literally says things like, because all standards today are A-weighted, and because no standards consider low frequency, oftentimes decisions are not made properly by decision makers because their regulations only look at A-weighted. And it's become more and more of a problem as we get more and more power stations in residential areas because of solar farms. It's all in the inverters. The main noise contribution comes from the inverters and the large transformers stepping down power and stepping up power, specifically AC power. So as these are happening, we need to have regulations that are specifically looking at low frequency, because we've had people come to this meeting and say, we can't sleep anymore. After they upgraded the Vincent substation, they put in several more 500 kV transformers, and the transformers have firewalls between them, so they're open on two sides and have walls on the other side, but the walls do nothing because this low frequency sound goes right through. What it is whenever if you listen to a band going by on a parade and the drums, when they hit the drums and you feel it more than you hear it, that's low frequency. So a lot of times you don't even know that you're being bugged by the low frequency sound, like your refrigerator running, until it turns off. And suddenly you're like, oh, I feel much better. Well, that's what it is. It's not something you hear. It's something more you feel. So that's, all of these bets are going to be like that. And I did the calculations, and it looks like you're going to hear at least 80 decibels of low frequency noise more than 2,000 feet from the Angelino Best. And I'm sure the tie's not going to be any different, and humidor either. So it's something, we don't talk about, I talk about noise all the time, but.
Well, we talked about trains, we talked about all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, so it's relevant here too. So it's not, in my mind, it's not just aesthetics or wildfire risk or toxic risk, it's also noise.
Oh.
And noise, low frequency noise propagates and dissipates very low, not
What
much.
you just think too is like, it's an occupational hazard that they have to mitigate if you work at a job where there's that. No, I'm just saying, so like, this is, you're being dropped into that with no mitigation other than, well, it doesn't count because it didn't, we don't account for it, so it doesn't exist.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of what I think when we talk about the Vincent station, that's kind of what they've said, right? Like essentially it was like, there's nothing to see here.
Yeah,
And it's
look,
like,
we're measuring with the noise,
see the
nothing's
noise,
there,
it's
it's
like-
DBA, it's a noise.
it's at that frequency, yeah.
Well,
we didn't know, to be fair.
I mean, literally, that's what we move out here for.
Yeah, dark skies and quiet, right?
Yep.
Like,
Exactly.
So that noise, maybe in the city, that noise wouldn't be as offensive, but in
You'd probably hear
rural
it,
areas, but it would be more offensive in the rural areas where
Yes.
you hear everything.
Well,
The neighbors fighting,
Yeah.
they're all barking.
But there aren't many things that make low frequency noise. And so they don't exist in the city
Nature,
any
yeah.
more than they exist out here. Those things are they tend to be inverters, even trains, high-speed railroads. Right? You don't get the low frequency noise until you're above 180 miles an hour. So if it were 160, you would never make a comment on the train. So it's very uncommon to have large low frequency noise sources, but these BESS are, and so are solar and so are power stations. So that's, we need to, it's a new thing that I think we also really need to amp up the volume, no pun intended, on, with regards to that risk, so.
Well, even when our power goes out, like, people will post constantly like, oh, it's time for the generators, here they go.
Yeah,
And you hear them all. And
Oh,
you can hear them.
Yep.
Yeah, I know it's a different frequency.
No, but no, they
it's-
have, they
Yeah.
have a small low frequency.
But it's that thing where, people say it again and again and again on social media when we don't have
yeah, well, and
power.
then when they turn off, is that
Everybody come, we need you to
Yes.
show up, well, what would you say? What you wanted to share?
Okay, so the Matai meeting, the Matai Best is proposed by the same developers that proposed and I want to build the Humidor. It was Hecate, now it's called Fulmark, and they put out an invitation
to the town council about a month ago about this informational meeting. It's going to be on August 12th, Tuesday, August 12th, so a week from tomorrow. And it's at 6 p.m. and it's at the AV College in the main cafeteria. So you can park in parking lot D off of College Drive and enter in through the doors there. It should be, right inside those doors, the cafeteria. But the Matai Best is a 250 megawatt proposed facility. It's supposed to be east of the substation. So if you were looking down at the substation on a map, just to the right, to the east, is a 39-acre parcel, and part of that parcel was slated to be the best development. I don't know what they're going to talk about at this meeting. I'm assuming they're just going to try to see what kind of reception they get. It won't be good. And I want to make sure it's not good. I want to make sure they realize that our opposition is strong and our opposition is organized and that our residents are informed and that we show up. Please, if you come to the meeting, please wear a black shirt if you don't have a best shirt. And I just was given 5 more best shirts that somebody turned in that thought they were done with them, which is a shame because they probably thought that the humidor issue was gone to trial, that's over, but we got 2 more we're fighting, so best. Okay, so anyway, if anybody needs a shirt. So the meeting will be interesting, and I really don't know what to expect from the developer, other than this is what we'd like to build, and this is where it's going to be, and we'd love to hear your comments. So they will.
You might have a seat, buddy.
Yeah.
All y'all.
Oh, yeah.
I just have a question. Why are you holding it in Lancaster?
I don't
When
know.
we're the ones that are.
I will ask
the
them
project?
that, because that's very convenient for our community. It should be in the community in which the project is
That's right.
going to be proposed, and
I mean, why would
Lancaster
Lancaster
is
care?
not where Athens, right, so it's very inconvenient. And 6 o'clock,
Hard people commute.
hard people to get there at 6 o'clock,
there at
there's the
6.
commute. So anyway, that's the Matai meeting next Tuesday, 6 o'clock. I've been putting out on social media for people to email me if they plan on going. I'm keeping a running total of people that have confirmed that they're going. Right now I have about 62 people that have confirmed to me that they're going, but we need twice that amount. And I'm sure there will be a lot more that just haven't seen social media or haven't responded to me. But I'm going to be sending out my emails to all those people that I have to email.
I haven't confirmed, yes.
That's
So
okay,
I'm
somebody told me they were writing with you.
I'm gonna be there, and yes, I have somebody riding with me, and I'll probably bring Roger too.
Oh, okay, great. We need
I
live
just haven't
bodies.
told him yet, because he
I know.
won't remember.
No, but we need people to show up in force. Even if you don't plan on speaking, you don't need everybody to get up and speak. But if you show up and you wear a black shirt and you show solidarity for the community, and it shows that we care enough to drive out there during rush hour and show up for this meeting on a Tuesday night and let them know.
We're just wondering, what's the off ramp to the off on?
Uh,
Sounds like I know
K.
Lancaster, well.
K.
Okay,
And then
make
you
a
go
left.
left.
30th west.
Yes, yes.
Everything.
K and 30th West.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the college is kind of right there on the corner.
Oh, okay.
Is this meeting to focus on the development in Acton, or are they proposing others out there? in the
No, this is
valley?
the one in Acton. The tie is supposed to be in Acton substation, so we just don't understand why they're putting the meeting out there.
We understand.
Oh, well, and then they're gonna understand that we cared enough to show up in numbers, so if you
Yeah.
can make it, please do. Anybody, please come if you can. Our lawsuit progressed forward in July. We had 2 opportunities for mediation. We unfortunately didn't make any progress with mediation. That was initiated by the developer, and we complied. But we didn't get anywhere, so we went to our hearing. That was a difficult day. It was a 1:30 hearing schedule, and when we showed up, we were one of 14 cases on the docket, and we were number 14. So the judge finally got to us about 10 minutes after 4, and the court normally shuts down about 4:30. But because he knew it was an important case and we've been waiting patiently, he let us go forward till almost 5 o'clock. And then basically the building shuts down. So, but he did not make a ruling, which was kind of disappointing, but on the other hand, this is a very important ruling. A lot of other communities and other states are watching this case. I don't believe there have been any other lawsuits against a best approval. So we are like the foundational lawsuit for that. And anything that he decides is going to live in infamy forever. So I think he's trying to be very thoughtful and careful about his ruling, but we're very encouraged by the way that hearing went and the questions that were posed to our side of the county side. And it just seemed like perhaps the judge will see that the code, the zoning code reads a certain way, and if you read the code the way it's written, then we win. So we'll see. He has up to 90 days from July 17th, up to 90 days to make his ruling, which I thought was a really long time. And then we would have 10 days to respond, like if God forbid we didn't like his ruling, we have 10 days to respond and either to rebut it or to support it. So Lord only knows when this will end, but so that one's kind of just in a holding pattern, but it's almost done. The Prairie Song, which used to be the Angelino, that project came and made a presentation to the town council back in 2023.
This is May of 2023.
But Angelino has vaporized and become the Prairie Song. So everything that had been started with Angelino, I guess, was purchased, and now is the Prairie Song. We don't see anything to do with Avantis anymore. Avantis was the developer. I don't see anything about Avantis. I see Coel, I see APA, I see all these different names, but I don't see Avantis. So it seems to me the project has been sold. That project went to the CEC for approval, which is the other way a project can be approved. They can go to the county or they can go to the CEC. And the state process at the CEC has strict criteria, timelines. But it's a thorough process. And they filed their application just a little bit more than 30 days ago. And within 30 days, the CEC has to deem the application either complete or incomplete. And if it's incomplete, they have to have a full breakdown of what's missing and what they require to deem the application complete. So I would say about a third or a fourth of the application was deemed complete, and the rest of it was all incomplete. And they went through step by step, section by section of what they didn't like, and I was encouraged by what I read. They didn't like the fact that the project neglected to mention the Atkins CSD overlay on the map. That they mentioned that the project must comply with what's within the CSD. They mentioned that the transmission line was running through the significant ecological area, and that they wanted at least one alternative to be shown with the transmission line totally evading or avoiding the SEA. And they also wanted underground, and then the applicant said they wanted to put part of it above ground. So, and according to the AV area plan, that transmission line has to be underground. So CEC is holding their feet to the fire on a lot of this stuff. Another thing that was interesting was the applicant only mentioned a couple alternative sites that they had considered. And under CEQA, which is the California Environmental Quality Act, you have to have alternatives to the one project site that you zeroed in on. And the alternatives Springs, which is north of, like, the Humidor in that area, kind of, and down. And then Peaceful Valley was another one.
Yeah, the one option south of Peaceful Valley basically would take up all of the properties along the freeway in the vicinity of the Vincent Hill Restaurant, including.
And across the freeway.
It looks like it would actually include the arena as well, so.
Yeah, but
and all of those.
That was the Mountain Springs, yeah.
Yeah, the Mountain Springs alternative.
So both sides of Sarah Highway?
I believe so.
Which is interesting on one side.
Because it takes a lot of space. I mean, what they're proposing is a mile long, so it's a lot of parcels, right? So.
I don't think they really seriously considered that site too much because they didn't talk about it at all. They just said, oh, here's another alternative site, but they didn't mention anything about why they ruled it out. They said they used a two-mile radius to look for sites, and CEC said, well, we'd like to see some alternatives that are outside that 2-mile radius. And they said that they also thought that the applicant said, well, it was because of the transmission line, the intertie line, the gen-tie line, which is their section of the transmission line, would have to be, quite lengthy if they were outside that 2-mile radius. And CEC said, well, we don't think that's infeasible at all to have a gen-tie line that's longer than outside the 2-mile zone. So we want to see some alternatives that bring that to light. And all this was being said without the CEC even having seen their large generator interconnection agreement, which specifies that the project originally went into an agreement with Edison and Caliso for the interconnection for 24 miles away. So that was the original location for the Angelino splash.
I support that one.
But CEC was saying all these things about, we want to see things outside the 2-mile radius. And then further down in their staff report or staff assessment thing, it said, oh, by the way, please resubmit the following, all these items. And one of them was the large generator interconnection agreement, because they had submitted it all in one file and it was so big they couldn't open it. So CEC hadn't even opened the large generator interconnection agreement yet to see that there was a 24-mile away location that was originally considered that project spot. So,
and they, even if they have the LGI, they might not see it because it's in Appendix A, and so, or Appendix C. So as a resident, I have filed I petitioned, so CEC 2 weeks ago agreed to the developer's request to keep the LGIA secret and confidential and not let it be publicly available. This town council has a copy of the LGIA. I have a copy of it. The Board of Supervisors has a copy of it. So there's no, and Ruthie has a copy of it too. So there's no reason. It's out in the public domain. And so, so I as a resident on the town council, petitioned that the CEC reconsider, well, first petition to be able to look at it. And in the petition, since they've already deemed it confidential, you have to put in what the changed circumstances that have occurred and new information that was not available to the CEC when they just deemed it confidential. So I provided that information. And anyway, so hopefully that will be reversed. And I talked to Lisa Worrell, who's on she is the assigned planner for the Angelino, and I said, look, I could just enter it into the record. I could just let it submit it right now.
Yeah.
But it's that's bad. That's a bad look. It'd be better if you guys did it yourself, So hopefully they will do that soon, because it is very important for the alternatives analysis.
yeah, and I think it was important that the CEC, they'd rather see them, they're not looking for convenience for the developer, which I like. They so what if your transmission line, your gen-tie line is more than 2 miles? So what if you have to build further away to avoid an SEA? I mean, it seems to me like they're actually standing up for the environment and the community, you know?
The other thing that, or if I can, go ahead.
I was going to say, they were told to also identify the residences or other parcels within 1,000 feet of the project and of the best, and then 500 feet of the transmission line. And I counted, they redacted the personal names, but there were 76 privately owned parcels. Most of those are homes. And then there was quite a few that were developer owned. That's 76 within 1,000 feet. Or
What do you mean developer owned?
well, like they were held in the name of an LLC.
Oh, okay.
And a couple of them were obviously like energy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we need to look up those APN numbers and see if they're ones we were already aware of. Because the ones that I was aware of were the ones that are for Angelino and Prairie Song now. So, but there might be others. Yeah, it's pretty sick, but
I had two more things to add on to that.
Go ahead.
Okay. Another concern, and this is something that, you know, I'm hoping that members of the town council will be able to go to this meeting on the 12th, because I'm not going there to represent the town council, so I don't know if we need this. Usually when there's a meeting like, I guess I'm backing up to the side, I apologize. We vote to send somebody to represent the town council and speak on behalf of the town council. I'm not available to do that on the meeting on the 12th, so maybe somebody else would be interested in doing that or can do that.
And we also need to figure out how many of us are going.
Yeah, well, and I think we can all go. I'm not going to worry about the Brown Act violation. We should be able to speak freely in this thing. But I will be going, but I will not be going on behalf of the town council. I'll be going on behalf of, speaking as a resident, because I don't want to be constrained. So, but one of the key things that I want to bring up, and needs to be brought up, not only on the Angelino project, but also the Matai project, is both those projects are on ag zone land. And the LA County zoning code prohibits the placement of energy storage devices as a primary use on any ag zone, A1 or A2. So it's not even allowed in the zoning code. So I don't know why regional planning knows about Matai and knows Matai is on A1 and A2. I know, I'm fairly confident that the developers had conversations with the county about Matai that we'll never be privy to, so we won't know about them. But why nobody has told Matai that it's not even allowed under the zoning code? So that's a matter I will want to raise with Matai. It's also a matter that, like I said, I haven't written a town council letter or drafted the draft yet for Angelino thing. It's a critical element of the act that the CEC very rarely implements, because I don't know why, but we have to make sure that they recognize that the Angelino is one of those projects. And we also have to make sure that the county and Humidor recognize this, because I don't think anybody's told me this. I don't know that anyone's looked at the county zoning code for ag use. Because otherwise, they would have gotten out in front of this and said, well, we don't think it applies for whatever reason. But these developers are these best developers are very sneaky. So let me just give you as an example. And this was like corroding my soul last week, going through this Angelino application, because there were just lies after lies after lies. And on the noise, for example, and again, we're going back to A-weighted, they were talking about what the county noise standard is. Again, A-weighted, not even the low frequency, this is just the standard. And it's like 55 at night, 65 in the daytime. Okay, that's for residences experiencing noise from the project. And they said, well, we did all these baseline noises, which they did do noise studies. Some of them were taken from more than a mile away. And then they said, okay, so the project's going to be this much, so it's actually going to, it's higher than the LA County standard, like 7 or 8 homes. And then they said, but we feel, literally, that the standard should be adjusted by 5 decibels because the ambient sound already exceeds the standard. But if you look at their data, only one place exceeded it. The other places were all below. And the data was taken more than a mile away. So it's like, the standard is the standard. There's no allowance in the county code. This is under section.
Yeah, there's no feeling allowance?
Yes, under Title 8 of the code. So it's not Title 22, which is what we're all used to. I think it's 8, environmental protection. That's what noise is talked about. Yeah, it's like, you can't just say, well, we feel it should be 5 decibels higher, and in some cases 7 decibels higher.
I feel like you should build it here.
And I understand that the CDC, when they wrote their letter, they had no problems with the noise analysis. So I'm like, you know, when you see somebody just lying like that to the decision maker, it's like, I mean, flat out, you didn't have, it wasn't hidden. You didn't have to do math to find it. It was like written in black and white. It was just shocking. I mean, I'm getting angrier and angrier with every month that passes on how terrible these people are when they talk about and they lie to us, unless you happen to know that the noise ordinance for environmental health doesn't allow you to adjust just because you think it should be.
Well, we saw that in Santa Clarita. We went to that meeting, and that fire specialist who works for the Best Company, he was stating that you have a better chance of having a fire start with an e-bike or a scooter. Because in New York City, more people die from e-bikes and scooters catching on fire. Well, all you have to do is pick up your phone and Google it. And you find out that in New York City, they had a 12-watt Best plant. That's all. And they have over 200,000 scooters and e-bikes because that's a lot of the messenger services use that now. And and you look at it, and they said the scooter people who rent them out, like we have in Hollywood, they put 2.1 million miles on their scooters. So they're used a lot. So to say that you have a better chance of a fire starting, of course, there's 200,000 of those in one plant.
Right. Oh, that's sneaky.
So in the face of it, he's telling the truth. But all you do is a little bit of digging, and you see.
It's also irrelevant.
Yeah.
Both dangerous.
He neglected to say that in 2024, 18 people died from micromobility devices, but they didn't die from the fire, they died from the gas. They died from the gas, they instantly died from the gas.
Selective choices in their arguments.
Yeah. So one other thing that I wanted to talk about was very disturbing on this Angelino application. They're supposed to have a community benefits plan. Now, before everybody starts throwing tomatoes at me, right? I don't know.
We throw backpacks at you?
Yeah, only if they come from a best manufacturer. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't read tea leaves or have a crystal ball, so I don't know, how successful we'll be in any of these endeavors. But I do know this, that if we do end up having to have some of these vests here, there is a requirement in law, especially under the 8205, that our community is supposed to have a community benefits plan, right? The community is supposed to accrue benefits because we bear all the burdens of it. So in fighting for community benefits, that is not me saying we're not going to fight the best, so don't throw anything at me. But I think we need to fight equally hard for both because I don't know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went through their draft plan, which was like 3 or 4 pages, they talked about they are in conversations. The community benefits plan is focused on providing support for county priority projects and priority projects in the animal realm. And if you look and see what the project description is, it describes Acton as being a community that's about 3 miles southwest of the development, which perturbed me, right? Yeah, downtown Acton, that's what, Edison does the exact same thing. To this day, Southern California Edison insists that the Vincent substation is not anywhere near Acton. So it's because it's serves their purpose, right? So among the benefits that they talked about is they're in conversations with this LA County / Orange County Labor Relations Association or something like that. And they have a contract with them, and that's going to be community benefits. So I called this LAOC CBCD, whatever, I can't remember what all the letters are. And I spoke with the head person and asked him a few questions, and he goes, "This is about the battery development." I said, "Well, that's one of the projects, because, you know, the one on Angelino," because he said that his organization has a statewide contract with all the best developers for ensuring that the workers are all union. And I said, "Okay, so can you just explain to me how your organization, which is based in Los Angeles, you having a contract here, making sure that most if not all the workers are union, which is fine, how that benefits our community? Do you have members here? Do you have an office here? Do you have an office in Antelope Valley?" He goes, "No, we don't have an office up there, but most of the people who will be doing the work will be coming from Santa Clarita, Palmdale, and Lancaster." And he goes, "I don't think we have any members in Acton." And I said, "Well, you know, it's not, whether or not you do, you know, it's supposed to be a community benefits plan, not a plan to benefit an individual person, right? We like it when our fellow residents have, yeah, exactly, are employed." And so he goes, "Well, because you are not a city, the benefits of the project are going to accrue to the county, because the county is your city." And I said, that's not, it says community. That's what the statute says. And in the California Code of Regulations, that's what the implementing regulations say. So I think it's an important thing, and in saying this, I'm not saying we're getting bought off or anything. The law says the community where this goes, they're supposed to have contracts with community-based organizations that represent community interests. And he said, "Well, in Acton, you'll have less air pollution because the drivers won't drive as far." And that's fair. I mean, it's you know, but there was no there. So I think that's another. These three things are the things that I think that we should focus on our letter, because I will be writing that down.
And another reason why that's really, really important is that this project cannot be approved without a community benefits agreement signed and locked in. So they have got to find, if the CEC agrees that that is a bogus group, then they've got to find somebody to make an agreement with that will qualify as being a community benefit. And without that, the projects cannot be certified.
And the organization has to, this is under the statute, represent community interests. And so I know. And so I've been, also under the statute, they are required by law to have met with the agency that would normally have permanent authority over the project, the entity, the government agency, which in our case, of course, would be LA County. And so we've been bird dogging. I've been writing emails trying to figure out who's met with them and who's doing this, the community benefits. So finally, we got some answer back from Chuck like last week or something. It was like nothing really informative. So then I wrote an email, I think it was this morning, saying, "Okay, this is what has to happen." I talked to Lisa Lowe, who's the assigned planner for CEC. She said there has been a meeting with CEC and the developer and LA County. We want to know who met and what the discussion was on these community benefits and on other issues. So Chuck did email back this afternoon, and I don't know if you guys saw it, I can read it to you, but basically he said, yeah, I guess Director Bodick met with them and a couple other people from regional planning. Susie Tay is leading the charge. And what I understand is there was some discussion of community benefits, but it was very vague.
They agreed to not enter into anything on our behalf.
That was what Supervisor Barber's commitment was to us, and with our meeting with her, if you remember, that was the commitment. So, you know, and I believe absolutely to my toes she will carry through on that. She's a woman of integrity and honor, and she's not, I don't think she throws us under the bus. So Well, she's trying to figure out how to do things like, no, I'm not having over concentration areas. So I believe, I'm believing that.
I'm
So,
hoping to.
yeah, so that's why we need to find out who in the county is having these conversations.
Well,
I don't know
yeah,
why.
I sent a DRA request, and I have updated the gentleman that has taken over that request because they couldn't initially respond to it. What they did give me was nothing to do about the project. Like, did you mean to send me these? All that was in there that was pertinent to it was my own email that I sent them in June, right? And they sent it back to me. So he's working on that, and I just updated him with the date of May 21st as being the meeting date.
Oh,
I said that was verified by our field deputy. And I said, Director Bodak was in attendance, advanced planning staff, and the CEC.
But what's troubling me is there should be no communication of community benefits from regional planning. They have no idea what this community wants. They barely understand what we are, let alone.
Even if we tell them what we want, they don't understand.
After you had that phone conversation with that labor group, ironically, the very next day, there were 4 entries in the docket log for Prairie Song. All 4 of them were supporting and from that labor group. And it was like one form letter that they all submitted the same letter. But I thought that was interesting.
That is it.
The timing of it after you questioned and started poking holes.
Yeah, and it was a very civil conversation. I
Yeah.
was very positive. I was not attacking. I was like, look, we're just trying to understand this. This is what the law says, and we're not seeing it. So maybe I'm stupid, but just use little words, short sentences, so I can understand. I didn't say that, obviously. That would be rude.
But I thought that the timing was interesting because they sent 4 letters in supporting the project and touting their labor force and, you know,
I think it's very important that we highlight to community benefits and the zoning, and maybe even send an email to Director Boda tomorrow and let her know. This is the content of our conversations. We understand. We only learned it today that you met with them on the 21st. Did you tell them that it is not allowed under ag zoning? It's prohibited. The word's prohibited. It's not allowed. Just so you know, the Angelino application is relying on that memorandum, the LA County memorandum that they used to approve the humidor. So, you know, part of the discussion is that when the zoning code prohibits something, you can't issue a memorandum that says, okay, now it's allowed. It's like, because the zoning code is adopted by the board. So the planning director can't unilaterally say, okay, ignore that man behind the curtain there. So I don't know what you guys think of that either, should I think it's time to let regional planning know about the zoning situation.
Yes.
And letting them know that we know they met with them 2.5 months ago.
Ruth, I have a question. If the plans are approved and Southern California calls the PSPS, they shut off my electricity for 3 days, are they also going to be shutting off the best plans for 3 days?
Yes. So it's the classic developer lie, including the Canyon Country Best, that they are going to be supporting the community during PSPS. It's a bunch of hooey because the reason why there's a PSPS is to de-energize the distribution lines that serve the residences, the homes, the community. And if those lines are de-energized for safety, there's no power coming from the best going into those houses because, number one, it would be a huge hazard to Edison if Edison workers were checking lines or whatever. Those lines are supposed to be de-energized, right? So if there's a PSPS, the best is down too. Everything's down. So they lie to their teeth and they make the community think that, oh, we're going to keep you from having power outages. The only time that they're going to be a benefit during a power outage is if it was a blackout or a brownout due to us exceeding the demand exceeding what we had in the grid. And then they would inject onto the grid and help that community. For Acton, no, because our power would be going north and south.
And in the case of the BES here, it's connected to the transmission grid, So it's not like the Sand Canyon, which is connected to the distribution or
Right.
subtransmission.
Santa Clarita would benefit during a brownout or a blackout, but I don't know if they've ever had a brownout or a blackout.
But we will
And-
never, we just won't.
We never have, and there was one in 2020, it was a huge one, and Caliso had to pay $6 million because they cut their power with more reserves than their contract was. If they dropped below 3% reserves, then they could cut the power on the grid, right? And they cut the power with, they had more than 9% reserves, and they cut the power prematurely. And I think
It also
was-
helps them say, oh, we had to cut power, so that's why we need to put.
Exactly. I
$30
think
billion in
it
new
was
transmission.
to scare
Yep.
the public into thinking that we need transmission, we need BESS, we need, solar, we need all this because we just can't make enough electricity. Well, now we're making so much electricity, we're paying the states to take it.
Yes.
Yeah, the best will be operating when we don't have power.
Yeah, that's the bottom line.
Unlike Canyon Country, it won't operate when there's no power. It is-
So while I'm sitting in the dark with no water,
You'll be sleeping good at night
You're
when
still-
everybody
Yeah,
else
but
is.
still
that
being
will be
dark
bright.
for a while.
You'll see the light over the hill, and now things are okay.
Yeah, there is light.
It's a benefit to you for your dark skies objective, it's not
Yeah. So another couple things that this staff determination said, that they needed to give more details on the additional risks for LFP, thank you, Ken, for lithium iron phosphate batteries. So they wanted to hear more about the risks associated with LFP because the application didn't really talk about the risks. They also want to know about the fire risk associated with education and trust building. Believe it or not, this was in an article about nuclear. Where was this for BESS,
Oh,
right?
that's interesting.
But it all, you could just take it and apply it to BESS, right? And maybe they're seeing that,
You should read that to them at the meeting on the 12th.
yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous that now EPRI is going to have a come to Jesus moment. Anyway, that's all I got.
All did it.
That's all.
I kept interrupting her, I'm sorry.
Thank you. All right. Minutes.
Hey, I
Approved.
Yeah.
give everybody all the minutes that have not been approved. I've given them to you. June's given me corrections with the two that I listed on that.
Good
morning. Okay, so June has given me corrections now on, the January 6th, which I was not at the meeting, so she may have added some things that were not on there.
You want us to review her corrections, or it looks like there's a lot to it, so
There's a lot to that one.
is it possible, you take a picture of it and email it to us, or maybe we can vote on all these later then, is that all right?
I would really like to vote on them.
Sorry. Should we just look
At the next
then?
meeting?
Oh,
Yes.
the next meeting, okay.
At the next meeting.
So,
And
yeah.
then I have another idea to keep current, okay? Because we only have one meeting a month, so then we end up so far out.
Yeah, I'm
So
sorry.
all these, it's okay. But, I mean, by the time we're here now, I mean, February 3rd, it's hard for you to remember what was even, talked about. So, I propose that I'll come in to the meeting with all the minutes for all of you, 30 minutes before the meeting starts.
Okay.
And if you guys want to show up at 6, you can read them, you can write out your corrections.
Okay.
and we can vote on them at that.
It's very reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
So
is
we will
reasonable.
stay very current.
Okay. I
Okay.
apologize.
And do you think 30 minutes is enough?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'll be here at 6.
Okay, so Kelly's, Jeremiah's gonna send these your petitions around.
Okay.
Are we going to go ahead and vote on
Actually, she has an old one, I had already got one. No, that's not. And we'll look at, yeah, we'll look at that, yeah. Okay, and let's vote on these next meeting, if possible. And come in 30 minutes before, because you will have this meeting to be at 6 o'clock, right? Yeah, 6 o'clock, okay.
And that meeting is going to be on September 15th.
September 15th.
September 15th, next meeting.
Yes.
No, Ms. Guyton, I can send pictures of June's correction.
But you've already gone through.
Never use
I-
this.
Oh,
Yeah.
Can't have it all now.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Why don't you get 10,000 steps? You walk in and you get across my million.
you know what, we can have those next month. We've never seen them, so, I know.
Okay. That's it. On to committee reports. We're in a home stretch.
Yeah.
All right, education committee, I think just, anything to report?
The only thing to report is August 13th will be the first day of school. The school year will begin.
It seems like it's earlier.
It is,
I know.
yes.
So I was having this discussion with my kids today, and it's like, because they go back next week. And I'm like, what happened like after Labor Day?
I know.
Yeah.
We always did.
That
And it was the Wednesday after Labor Day, because they gave cheese
Yes.
Tuesday.
Yeah,
To get
Yeah.
ready.
yeah, okay, well, that's good to know. Are you planning and coordinating?
Nothing.
Okay, the RTC. Publicity, nothing to be filled, social media, thing. Finance committee, meeting payments up here. Case standard decorum.
Yeah, we need to bring that back up.
Reconvene that.
Yes, we need to reconvene that. I will look up all of my notes that I have and then try to get that with everybody that had helped on it.
On the CSDs, you're talking about?
CSD,
Yeah,
yes.
we need to, it's just so hard with all this stuff happening.
I know, we have so
You've
much
got
happening.
You've got the huge gas station, we got the drive-through, you've got the bus and the other bus, I just, but CSDs, we need to, and I know Supervisor Barger wants them done before she leaves, so it's like 2 years. So,
Okay, and we want to add the new things.
Well, we can, you can,
About several new
Let
days.
let me go look at
Yes.
all of our notes.
yep.
I get the last one that we
Yes.
had looked at. I know there were a lot of things that we did not agree upon, and things that we wanted to see in there that they were not going to allow.
I mean, you know what, we
They
need to
wanted us
revisit
to-
every one of
Yes.
those notes, because I am sick and tired of these outdoor storage facilities, I am done with it. They all violate
The
the code.
hugest thing that I felt that we took out of it was that the county would really like for each of our communities to be cookie cutter.
Synced up.
Like this, all of the CSDs synced up, and they just can't be. Because, I mean,
It defeats the
I
whole purpose.
remember the way Jackie described all the different plans and what they all meant, you know, the LA County was the bones, and then the AV area plan was the muscles to the whole thing.
Yep.
And our CSDs were the hair color, the, you know,
Makeup.
the way we do our fingernails, the way we, you know, they were.
And
they
that's what
were all
makes us
that
look
color.
different from
That's what
everybody.
makes us look different from
Yeah.
everybody. And they were wanting to take that away, really, and make us all look,
Stepford wives.
yes, the same. And we
And strip out
just
stuff.
were.
Well, I'm good
Strip
with it
out
as long as
stuff.
all the rest of them have to look like us. So I'm just, if we make all the other CSDs like ours, sounds great.
Yeah, exactly.
But they were stripping out things that
Yes.
we really need.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, we're stripping out and then now allowing things that I think were reasonable
Yes.
to put in. Like,
Okay.
you know, cannabis stuff, and there's all this other stuff that we said, hey, we'd like to put.
So I will put that all back together again.
Yeah, I-
And we'll review it
Yeah, because I'm thinking,
and
if you can get that together,
reconvene our
and then we can,
talks.
it isn't, you know,
Well,
That's gonna
our
be a
talks
cool-
were with Mark and,
Yeah.
I mean, and he's so busy doing the, so, they may not get with us.
Trails and open space?
And recreation, a couple of things, we got the email from Mr. Edmonton, who represents, who's both on SCORCA and on MRCA. They, we voted, and I spoke in public comment during the SCORCA meeting, and they have reached out, they want to have a discussion with us, so, talked about us, to us without our concerns. And then bringing, his email, he was talking about that whole fiasco with the Catherine Barger Sports Facility Complex in Acton, right? And so I think this is really important that we do this, so I was wondering if I could give them a few dates and times when we could have I assume it'll be a Zoom meeting, I don't want to drive all the way to Malibu, although it's a beautiful drive, I'm a little busy. So I'm assuming it's going to be remote, but are there any dates and times that we could throw out to them that is convenient for you guys in the next, maybe not this week, but, next week?
I need to get back to you because I gotta get some stuff in flux, so I
Okay, well, everybody's critical on these
Yeah.
meetings, so, maybe, could you guys all just get back to me within the next 2 days on the dates and times?
Okay.
And maybe, don't just email town council, but email everybody, and so then everybody, whoever sent the first one, and the
Yeah.
other ones jump on it.
Yeah.
If that's okay. And then that would be great, and I will get back to them.
Jackie, is this in person or a Zoom?
Well, I don't know, I haven't set it up yet. I don't want to drive to Malibu.
Right.
And I assume they're not going to drive here, so I'm assuming it's Zoom, but face-to-face meetings are always better.
Yeah.
They're willing to come up here, so SCORCA is in Santa Clarita. So SCORCA is all Santa Clarita. So I wouldn't mind having a face-to-face in Santa Clarita, if you guys wouldn't mind.
No,
Because
not at all.
face-to-face is always 5,000 times better.
Oh, sure.
So, but factor in the times you're available with the drive down there. And we can throw that out, it's like we would like to meet, we understand SCORCA's headquarters is Santa Clarita, so let's jump on it.
Okay.
Right.
And weren't we talking about something on the 27th and the 28th?
Yeah, I'm gonna get that.
You're gonna get to that, okay, so
Yeah.
those dates might be out.
So then the other
Okay.
thing is, if it's okay with you, Ms. Harris, I'll get your contact information and I'll forward it to that person who was emailing about it. Okay. All right, so that's what I have for trails, and I know recreation.
Awesome. Utilities?
Okay, so we have to, I think it's also sort of subject to what's convenient for the school district, which Yolanda's checking on. But which would we prefer for a meeting to start at 6 PM, community meeting, to talk to confront Edison, even though they'll be electronic, on the January PSPS event. The choices may be given of the 26th to the 27th. Originally it's going to be 18th, but that,
I'd like to look like I'm looking at those.
Either's fine.
Yeah, same here.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, either's good. So we'll defer to the school district, whatever's convenient to them. Yeah, I will contact Yolanda first thing in the morning. Okay, that's what I have for that.
26th and 27th, right?
26th or 27th, yeah.
Yeah, they're not gonna let you do that.
No.
Okay. And, Kelly, anything on bylaws?
No.
Emergency response disaster resilience plan, anything during an emergency response?
Yeah. I'd like to thank Nancy first for coming to this meeting. I appreciate it. Really, really, really. Thank you. The Golden Oaks and the Santa Clarita doing their CPR and basic life support for help. And the fees about $50. And to give them a call, they have August 23rd, 12 or 11 classes, which is good for there's so many emergencies going around lately, but I'm seeing on the AV scanner. And the CERT class, the Community Emergency Response Training, is doing a special training, CERT, on August 21, 16, and 23rd, that's all on the Saturday. And it's presented by the LA County Fire Department, the LA County Sheriff Department, and the Antelope Valley CERT. And it's free. And they, of course, they included the word I like. They had snacks and stuff. Drinks to eat, they said. So it won't be, we provided this on there. And you have to attend all 3 sessions, and you get your certificate and completion. I know Tammy got hers before I got mine.
Where's this at?
This is in, I don't know about.
6 Fire Department?
Fire Department, Fire Station 129, Lancaster.
And what time?
Would you need a certificate?
The certificate will be a community emergency response training.
And what time is that, on this 9th, 16th, and 23rd?
It's like 8 to 5. 8 to 5 p.m. And
Yeah, better.
it's well, because once a year, here it is now, the CERT, the Antelope Valley will have a CERT exercise, and it will be in the Antelope Valley Fairgrounds on Saturday, October 4, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Your dress attire is long pants, shirts, reinforced toe footwear, and we have to bring all our backpack and all our helmet that they gave us, the vest, goggles, and gloves. And registration and attendance is free. And they said down here, they also had lunch, I believe, included. There's one thing. But bring water and stuff will also be provided, because I know it's going to be a hot day probably. Yeah, it's on Avenue H, the Antelope Valley Fairgrounds. It's very good. It's free.
9, 16, 23, is that September or August?
Which one?
First grade, is that?
The first training? There are 9. August, not August, right. And then lately on the part of the emergency things, they're putting out, like the gas companies put out things for the community to know about how to recognize and respond to a natural gas leak. The first experience I had with that, I didn't know that was a gas leak. I said, it's awfully strong, bad smell here. It was a gas leak when I reported to the manager. The second time was I was going around the house, walking, and I heard this large hissing noise. I said, oh no, a gas leak, and how do I find I have a gas leak? Where in the house? Around the corner. There's the rat there.
Oh.
And I said, that's no gas leak. That's the thing. But anyway, they give you 3 things, to know, like signs of a leak may include smell. You can hear the hissing sound, which I did. I didn't smell. And you can see dirt or water blowing through the air. I didn't realize that at that time. We live for agriculture here, so that makes sense on there. And they talk also about the LA County sanitation districts talk about don't clog your pipes and things like that, and like flushable wipes don't break down like toilet paper, things like that. Little hints for us in the community, things that sometimes I don't think about, but they said it's important. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
No, I got something on the emergency though. We need to, I'd like to move that we write a letter of support for the CAL FIRE grant that I talked to Nelson about. That the, for grant funding to have, and you have them come to your house and they'll tell you everything that's dangerous about your house. It's free. A free, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I move we write a letter of support for the CAL FIRE grant.
CAL FIRE grant.
You got motion, Don second? Right.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right, Tammy is here.
I am here.
Up there.
Yeah, just,
So just, you said earlier that we had the big Queen's Day, we'll call it.
Yeah, we did, we had that, and we collect up tires and mattresses and we store them. and we store them, and then once every other month or so, we take them into Public Works, and we get the tires and mattresses at Public Works. Anyway, we just took in after a big cleanup, and these weren't all from the cleanup. These are ones that they collect out. In fact, they went today and picked up 6 more tires. There were 3 on Red Rover and 3 on Sarah Highway. Anyways, we picked them up. So we brought in 47 tires and 16 mattresses. And that's in a 2-month period.
Where did
And-
you take them again?
To Public Works in Montiel. So they have a dumpster that they throw them in, or roll off. And so we just stack them next to there, and then the mattresses, we just put in the corner of the yard with other mattresses they've picked up. And they have been so good about, I'll just call them at any given time and go, hey, can we bring these in on Tuesday? He's like, yeah, no problem. So we'll bring those in. Waste Management Waste Management picked up our roll-off that we had 2 weeks ago. I called because there was a ton of couches at this dump that was at the bottom that somebody had moved. It was a resident. They had sold their house on the corner of, I believe, the Sachet and 28th Street. They had sold their house, and you can go through the Zillow things and go, oh, there's that couch.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's the fish tank. Oh, there's, and it was their house. So they cleaned it out, threw it over the hillside, literally 200 yards from their house. And they moved. And, but then you do the, it was absolutely awful, but it's like, if you went to them though, they're gonna tell you, oh, we've paid somebody to dispose all of that, but it's 200 yards from your house. Did you not see it when you were driving away? Anyway, so that's what we cleaned up, but I had called Waste Management and asked, her name is Quincy, and she's amazing. I asked her if we could just load up all the stuff and then take it to the dump that day for free. Can you guys just comp us the stuff? And she's, yeah, hang on. So she actually, his name's David, it's her boss. And he called me back and he says, no, we're not gonna do that. He goes, let me just get you a roll off. He goes, that way you guys dump it once and you don't have to worry about it.
Oh, that's even better.
It was so much, and we get, we put a lot more in that roll off than we would have put on our trailers. We would have waited, or we would have cut, like the couches you have to cut up to put in the dumpsters. So we didn't have to cut up couches that day. We didn't have to do anything. We all went in that roll off. So he called and he said, no, you know what? Don't worry about it because we're just going to get your roll off. And the roll offs aren't cheap. I mean, they're like $800 or $900. I mean, they're crazy expensive. So they have been really good. And the county's been good too about giving us roll offs when we ask for them. But Waste Management has picked up several of our roll-off fees, dumpsters. They've been really good. And so I have no complaints. Yes, we have to pick it up and stuff like that, but between Waste Management, the county, and Public Works, they've been very good to us as far as, yeah, bring it here, just dump it here, we'll get rid of it. So it has been super successful as far as all of that.
Have you had any, has the county had any discussions with you to prevent this from happening? You have a steady flow of stuff coming to them all the time. At one point, do you play this game all the time, or do you actually, are they going to ever do anything to kind of halt it?
Don't know what they can really do. You'd have to put cameras up everywhere, and then people's privacy goes away. The one thing, and actually it was Senator Valdero's office, but it was Tanya. There was a big dump. They were coming off the freeway
Oh, the thing.
on Escondido, but not on the off ramp.
No,
They were coming
yeah,
off the freeway.
yeah.
And so anyway, Public Works or Caltrans, it's actually Caltrans. They went out and cleaned up that whole field, got it all dumped out, and I'm like, okay, that's great,
Yeah,
but they're still going to come on the freeway. They're still going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
They know it's all cleaned up. Caltrans went out and put a huge dirt berm there. They just finished it last week.
I saw the piles of dirt and I thought,
Oh,
wait, that looks like it's intentional, and then it was gone.
Yeah, so they've got that, and the dirt berms we have found, and we did it with the Forest Service as well, because we were doing a bunch of cleanups in the Forest Service. Yes, and they've got 8-10 foot high berms now, and guess what, the dumping stopped.
Yeah.
It probably only stopped for that 3 or 4 miles. As soon as there's a pull out, there's a new dump.
Still a big deal.
It's huge, and Forest Service has got a lot of those up now, and we haven't had to go back and clean up those canyons.
Oh, great.
And so, but it definitely has been like all different kinds of entities of the community, and they've been super supportive of us, so it's awesome.
I want to ask you a question now. You cleaned up that Ward Road and
Yeah,
Charlotte Highway.
Escondido?
Did they have a big accident there? Because looks like the whole bar or that they put up.
The rail,
Was all down
corners.
and loaded with the trash,
Yeah.
garbage.
Mhm.
All of a sudden, I know you did a good job, and all of a sudden, didn't happen too long.
I haven't been down Ward Road in the last week or so. Is it longer than that?
But they haven't even fixed the railing there.
It's actually like up, if you read down the 14 going south, across from it, where that weird
On
fly.
right.
Oh, but off the 14?
Yeah, there's
Uh-huh.
the rail around the corner, it's like somebody
Right.
went off and doing it, like, yeah.
Like it always.
Okay, well, if it's anywhere near the freeway, it's above our pay grade.
This is on the section across the freeway, so I don't know, I think it would be,
Is it where that construction yard is, or that house that?
Yeah,
No.
there's a
No?
no,
big yard.
if you're going this way,
Mhm.
like down Sierra, it would be on the left and behind. If you were coming off the 14 at Red Rover, you would loop past it, and it would be on your
Okay,
right side.
okay,
Yeah,
Over the bridge, and you would make a right to go down.
right.
okay, yeah,
It's like that little-
I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
Yeah, you did that before, I remember, and I said, oh.
We do the bottom of Ward Road a lot, and then from
Yeah, this is
that.
not the bottom, this is
Yeah.
up, kind of right across from Zimmer Farm, that, you know, that.
Oh, gotcha,
It's like
gotcha.
right
Yeah.
across from.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
Cool.
And I'd like to mention to thank you for coming to our seniors meeting. She came and talked to all the seniors there. They were quite informative. They never knew all these things were
Came
happening.
and talked trash.
I did. I'm a trash talker, to all y'all.
All right, film coalition. Okay, industrial aesthetics, film. Traffic safety. Okay, safe routes. High speed rail, who's not here, but I haven't heard anything other than lawsuits around the 4 billion fallback.
Right.
All right, unfinished business.
We were talking about the public health thing, and Eduardo Figueroa is the name of the person who we want to reach out to them, or we want to put on the next agenda, talk about, because what we're hearing from Public Works is that, you can't set up the tents and seats and for restaurants.
Yeah, I think we should do it there.
That came up in public comments.
Yeah, well, it's like recurring thing, and I think there seems to be a disconnect. It seems like, you talk to whoever, they're all doing that.
So do you want to do it on the next agenda, or?
Well, we can see if they can, I mean,
Or do you want me to send an email saying, this is what we've been told, now we understand this is what the sheriff's department's being told,
yeah, I think the problem
and this is
is,
what the law actually says, so what the heck?
well, I didn't even talk to, I think an email's just gonna get more of
So
the.
try to set up a meeting.
Yeah, set up a meeting, and either if they come to one of our meetings, great, otherwise, we're happy to do a call, and we can just hash it out, because I think otherwise, they're gonna email back and just say the same thing. And it's kind of what we got, which was,
Okay.
but it's not us.
I think there's something they could do though with the guy in front of Chado's that's blocking traffic.
Yeah.
That's not okay. I have pulled out a couple times.
That's why I'm thinking, like, even if it's a curb red, like, one, I'm sorry, but if that business goes up in Inferno, I would like to know the fire
Yeah.
department park there and do something.
Right.
And now they've done that nice little wood fence, which actually looks really nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
Now they all sit on it.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they have a tent too. When you're talking about the tent across from McDonald's, he sets up a little
Oh, yeah.
tent.
That's a big tent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's outdoor dining.
So,
anyway.
so that would be communication to Public Works. then.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
But I think that,
Well, tonight there was, so in front of the junior high school, there's 2 tents.
oh, yeah, oh,
And-
that's it.
No, it's like a white,
Yeah,
smaller circus tent looking thing.
On
Tonight.
Oak Woods?
On Emerald Hills Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other guys, it says the canopies, but he hasn't been around lately. The guy called the canopies.
Are you talking about?
On Emerald Hills Road.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. All right.
The community is, I'm just gonna send you.
So, I don't know.
So items for next agenda,
Just the Mountain View retreat,
Mountain View retreat.
and also we have, fun stuff action.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if he responded, he would be available.
He didn't, but I got the impression.
So what's happened is we received an email from Fonstock Ranch trying to move forward with their project. They've been told by Public Works, specifically Waterworks District 37, that in order for their project to go, now this is what we saw.
There's one,
We've
there's
never
one
seen-
side of.
Yes, we've never seen any communication from Public Works. But they've been told they have to pay for the standby emergency generator operating the water pump for when we use PSPS, so the water can keep coming during PSPS to people who are District 37 customers. I did not know that that was a problem. Apparently, they had a generator, and Public Works did, and it was stolen. And he has estimated that this is going to cost them how many hundreds of thousands of dollars. So he's asked the town council to think about whatever. What's going on. So, and, so that's that.
Yep.
There is, I also need, I should have gone back to unfinished new business. I am still missing the mediation statement from Edison. I know I went out to everybody.
You did.
I gave you my
Gave you
back,
that?
yes.
Mine ain't even back. I don't know.
Well,
I went through my whole file.
well, Jeremiah's keeping his.
Oh,
So I think I got one back from Dawn and I got one back from Kelly.
right here.
So,
There,
is that it? Oh, is this, yeah, is this from you or from Dawn?
Yeah,
Okay. So I'm still missing one.
Well, I think we're missing only one.
No, I think it's from Aaron. That might be.
Okay.
So that's fine. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I don't have that one.
The Russians,
Good.
the Russians will be disappointed.
All right.
Yeah.
On that note, we will call.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
Reminder that it is going to be the 15th for the next meeting. So 15th.
And we'll all see each other at Animal Valley College.
Yes. Yeah. All right.
Our black shirts.
Oh, yeah, Ruth. Ruth. No, he's the one.
Savior.
Hey, Ruth.
So Dawn, who are the two black models?
Oh, friends of mine.
So I figured you took a picture.
I owe
Oh,
you
we've